Some passengers you pick up by choice. Some you pick up because the road is dark and the rain doesn't stop and something and you can't drive past someone standing alone in it. Tonight, ask yourself a question before we begin. If you picked up a stranger in the dark, would you really know who was driving who? This is the Hollow Hour. I am your Greg Chappell. This is The Passenger. It was 11 p.m. Dark clouds had swallowed the entire sky whole, and rain poured endlessly over a lonely stretch of highway that hadn't seen another car in over 20 minutes. John had been driving this route for years, ever since he'd first moved to this town. In a few days he'd be leaving for good, starting over somewhere new, somewhere far from here. Tonight was one of his last nights on this road. He knew every bend of it, every pothole, every flickering street lamp that had never been fixed. He knew it the way you know something you're about to leave behind, a little more carefully than usual, as if memorizing it, which was why he noticed her immediately. A figure at the roadside. So, drenched completely through, her clothes clinging to her, one arm raised toward the passing headlights. Most drivers would have kept going. Something about the hour, the isolation, the rain, it should have made him cautious. Instead he found himself easing off the accelerator, the old taxi's brakes sighing as he pulled onto the gravel shoulder. She climbed in without hesitation, wringing water from her dark hair, breathless from cold. "Thank you, sir. Thank you so much." "Where are you headed?" "The next town." "At this hour?" She smiled, an easy, warm smile that didn't quite match the desperation of standing alone on a highway at midnight. "Work," she said simply. John nodded and pulled the taxi back onto the wet road. The wipers beat a steady rhythm against the windscreen. For a few minutes neither of them spoke. The silence wasn't uncomfortable exactly, just full, the way silence gets between two strangers who've just shared something small and don't know what to do with it yet. Then the radio crackled to life on its own, the old dial drifting between stations the way it always did on this stretch of road. Breaking news this hour. Police are actively searching for a dangerous patient who escaped earlier tonight from the state mental asylum. Without quite meaning to, John's eyes flicked to the rearview mirror. She was watching the rain through the side window. Calm, unbothered. As if the words on the radio belonged to a different night entirely. "What's wrong?" she asked, catching his gaze in the glass. "Nothing. You're looking at me like you suspect something." John laughed, a touch too quickly, a touch too high. "It's just, this late, this rain, and now this on the radio. Strange night." She laughed, too easy and genuine. "Do I look like an escaped killer to you? Who knows what one looks like? I'm a doctor, actually. That's exactly what they say in the films." She laughed harder this time, properly amused. "Fine. Change the station. I don't want to listen to this kind of thing tonight." John reached over and turned the dial. A soft, old melody filled the car instead, something slow and half familiar, the kind of song that belonged to a different decade entirely. Minutes passed. The rain didn't let up. The road stretched on, black and endless, lit only by the cone of the headlights and the occasional flash of a road sign too far gone to read. In the mirror, John watched her eyes grow heavy. Her head tilted gently against the window. Within a few minutes she had drifted into sleep, slow, even breaths, completely unguarded, the particular trust of someone who has decided, without quite realizing it, that they are safe. John reached over. Quietly, carefully. He turned the dial back to the news. More on tonight's escaped patient. Police have now confirmed the identity of the man being sought. His name is John. Before fleeing the facility, he is believed to have murdered a nurse and a security guard during his escape. Authorities warn he may currently be traveling in a stolen vehicle, and urge anyone with information to contact. Outside, the rain grew heavier, hammering against the roof of the car like something trying to get in. John looked up, into the mirror. She was still asleep. Peaceful, trusting. Her hand had fallen open in her lap, palm upward, as if she had let go of something on the way into her dream. A faint smile crossed his lips. He reached over and turned the volume down, not off. Just down. Low enough that the words dissolved into murmur beneath the sound of the rain. Then he kept driving. Into the dark highway ahead. The wipers kept their rhythm. The road kept unwinding before the headlights, black and wet and endless. And in the back seat she slept on, unaware for now of exactly who was driving her through the storm. Outside the rain kept falling. It did not stop for a very long time. Next time you're alone on a dark road and someone asks for a lift, ask yourself which one of you should really be afraid. This has been the Hollow Hour. Sleep well.